our ingredients, I'm going to be using some finely chopped carrots, some finely chopped broccoli, and I'm also going to be using some broccoli that is left in like larger pieces, some minced onions, and for the bad stuff, I'm going to be using some flour, some butter, and some cheddar cheese. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and melt a little bit of butter, and in that I'm going to go ahead and cook my onions. I'm using a whole small onion, but if you don't like that much onion, just go ahead and use less. I'm going to season those up with a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of chicken bouillon. I'm giving those a little stir, and I'm going to let them cook for about 3 minutes or so, just to get them translucent. My onions are looking beautiful, so it's time to add the carrots, and we're going to cook this up for about another 5 to 8 minutes so that the carrots can soften up too. So now that these are soft, I'm going to go ahead and add my broccoli. And this seems like a lot of broccoli, but when it cooks up, it basically wilts down quite a bit. So just with all the patience in the world, give it a good stir and incorporate all those ingredients. So I cooked up this mixture for about 6 minutes or so, and you can see how much it's reduced. So now I'm going to go ahead and set that aside on a different burner and start melting about 4 tablespoons of butter. And to that I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of flour, and I'm just going to go ahead and whisk that very fast. Don't stop whisking, otherwise you're going to get like lumps. So basically what we're doing here is we're making a little roux. This is going to thicken up our soup a little bit. So to that I'm going to add about ½ a cup of heavy cream, but just a little bit at a time, mixing it really good as I go. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this to my vegetables. Now you can skip this step if you don't have any flour on hand. It actually tastes really good if you just add water and heavy cream without the flour. But I'm going to add about 3 bottles of water to this. Now you can add less or more depending on your liking or the size of your pot. Season this up just a little bit, so I'm adding some garlic powder and a couple of scoops of chicken bouillon. Now you don't want to add too much seasoning at this point because we're still going to add the cheese, which is going to add some extra salt, so just be very careful on this step. Then you're going to go ahead and put a lid on it and let it simmer for about 10 minutes or so. Now will you look at this delicious soup? It's looking really good at this point. So now it's time to add the cheese, which is my favorite part of this whole thing. So I'm adding about, I want to say about 1.5 cups of cheese. You can do a little more or a little less, whatever, this is your dish. But you want to be very careful after you add the cheese and stir it constantly because you don't want the cheese to sink to the bottom and burn to the bottom of the pan. So just a disclaimer, stir it constantly. So I let that simmer on medium to low heat for about 10 minutes and I gave it a taste test and my soup still needed more flavor. So I'm adding some garlic powder, a little bit of garlic salt, and just a tiny bit more chicken bouillon because it just didn't have enough chicken bouillon, guys. So after seasoning it up again, I'm gonna let it simmer for just a couple more minutes so that all that flavor has time to marinate into the soup. And after a while, you are all ready to serve. So here we are, a delicious broccoli cheddar soup, and you didn't even have to go to Panera to get it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to put your own spin on it. Recipes are roadmaps, not contracts. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.